All right, what is up, everybody? Divine Hood here, coming at you with another update. The Bitcoin crash continues today, and we continue to see blood in the markets. Now, we do have some very interesting developments on Bitcoin here. And first and foremost, I want to start out with Bitcoin did continue crashing today. We crashed to the 886 touch here, and you can see we touched pretty much perfect on the 886. Now, Coinbase on December 30th made a different low than Bybit did. You can see the Coinbase low here on December 30th was around 91,271, and on Bybit it was around 91,700. So Coinbase made a little bit lower of a low here than Bybit did on that December 30th, 31st, going into New Year's Eve. So our 886 is going to be a little bit different, but we touched into the 886 and we did start to lose our pitchfork band of support earlier today. We were at the golden pocket. I was expecting a bounce there. We did see a small bounce. So if I zoom in here onto the 1 hour chart, you can see when we came into that band, we did get a bounce, but and I did long that bounce. I took profit one at the VWAP though, because I was seeing a lot of weakness on the chart still. So after our TP1 at VWAP, we got stopped out on the rest of that. I did try to re-enter again on the touch of the pitchfork band, and on that one I got stopped out on the low. You don't win every trade, it's just how it goes. And we continued dumping through our golden pocket, even through our 886 and our naked. We had an 786, excuse me. So if I show you guys this fib here to the 786, we had our 786 there along with a weekly level and a naked daily in POC. Well, we kind of dumped right through it all the way down to the 886. Now we got an instant recovery back up to that 786 there. You can see that 1 hour wick there. If I bring it back to the 786, you can see we wick past it on the hourly to the 886, and then we recovered and closed right around this 786, and the weekly's right around here as well. And also the daily naked point of control was around there, which is no longer naked. So Bitcoin did bounce. Another reason that we did bounce, I'm going to zoom out here on the chart, you guys, and I want to show you something here. Because I had drawn these just going off of simple trends in the market for Bitcoin. I'm going to actually go back to the 12-hour chart here. And Bitcoin had been making a lot of parabolic price action in this history here. So I was drawing trend lines here, ray lines, as we were kind of making more and more parabolic action. And I left these on the chart. So our first ray, we had a ray from this low to this low here. Then we started going even more parabolic. So I made one from this low to this low here. And then our third ray line I made from, and I moved this one up higher on the chart so I could show you guys. Now I can't even find it. Here we go. And then I made one from this low to this high, because you can see the parabolic price action was curving higher and higher and higher. Well, our most aggressive parabolic trend here, we came and touched it pretty much perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and hide these other two rays right now that are not really relevant right now. And we're going to zoom in onto the hourly chart. And you can see Bitcoin did dump. It not only was our 886, but it was also our ray, our trend line, pretty much exactly to the dollar. So our 886 was there and our trend line was there. So we're still holding our higher parabolic trend from the last big parabolic move up. This is our support of that trend. If we do lose this, well, first of all, in saying this, we did hit the 0.88 fib. Now, anytime you come down and hit the 0.88 fib, if you see a bounce, you should expect a lower high to come in before ultimately taking these lows that the fib was pulled from. So this fib here was pulled from the 91.2K lows all the way up to the highs that we made at 102.7 the other day. When you come down and you hit that fib, that 886 fib, even if you bounce from it, you should be expecting a lower high to come in and then eventually to come down and continue to take these lows here. That's the higher probability. Now, so we had a couple reasons we bounced. We also had the swing failure pattern, not on Coinbase, but on Bybit. Oh, actually, it was on Coinbase. Excuse me. These lows here, we did have a swing failure pattern of these lows. There was some liquidity down here. So we swing fail pattern these lows into the 886 and into our trend line, our ray there. And this ray is very accurate because I used it on the magnet on the exact points. And the ray is the most accurate way you can draw a trend line using 2 points. And you can see how just absolutely perfect that was hit there. So we had the swing failure pattern into the parabolic trend line and the 886, and we got a quick recovery and a bounce, and we're bouncing up to, we're starting to recover this pitchfork band that we're losing. We started to lose it today. Now we got up above it, and right now, in the process of me speaking, we're back testing it to see if it's going to confirm to support, and we can continue to move higher on this 886 bounce, or if we're going to come back down right now. Another thing that I want to point out to you guys right now is we're in a descending channel. This, you can see this kind of choppy price action that we were in all day. We were just chopping down all day long, seeing a lot of longs come in and then getting stopped out, more longs come in, getting stopped out, more longs coming in, getting stopped out. And so we still haven't broken this trend. If I zoom in here, let me zoom in onto the 15-minute chart, and you can see this channel here. I just pulled this descending channel just from these basic highs where we started the chop to this high here, and then I pulled it down to this low. And you can see how nice this channel's been respected. Midline's been respected multiple times here. We did bounce after we recovered back into it. We rejected from the midline, which was also our pitchfork. We held it, rejected from the midline again, held it again, held it a third time, and now we're pumping to the top of it, and it looks like we're starting to reject from the top of the channel again. So we still haven't really changed the trend of the day. The trend of the day has been a slow bleed down all day, and we're still continuing to trend in this slow bleed down. Now, one ray of hope is we did recover this pitchfork midline before the day closed, and if we can hold it, let's actually see here. Let's go on to the daily chart, and I'm going to have to hide this channel here. Okay, and let's see here. So yeah, we closed the daily right at the pitchfork band of support. And this pitchfork band of support is kind of an important band of support to hold overall if we want to kind of continue this bullish trend to the upside. If we lose this, well, first of all, we can already expect to come for these lows. But if we lose this, we can come down to our 1-to-1 fib target, which I talked about yesterday on this ABC correction. And usually when you see the ABC correction, the C wave is a pretty impulsive wave to the downside, and that is in alignment with what we're seeing so far. It's an impulsive wave, and it does usually have a lot of volume in it, and you can see the volume on these two red candles is pretty high on the daily chart here. So we're just going to continue monitoring this. Remember, our target for this, our main target for a ABC correction is the 1-to-1 fib, but there are other also extended targets we could be looking at. So if we go to our trend-based Fibonacci extension, the 1-to-1 target, like I explained yesterday in the video, is 87,311, which is exactly at this daily level here that we have at the bottom of the ascending channel since November 11th that we broke down. So we have that daily that's right on top of it there. Perfect confluence with each other. And if we lose that and it takes a little bit more time to get down here, another target for an ABC correction is the 1.236, which if it takes a few days, maybe a couple weeks to get down to this level, it's going to be pretty closely aligning with our pitchfork midline. So we do have this level as well. And then the maximum target for an ABC correction that you want to see is the 1.618, which is around 79K. I wouldn't, if we come down here, I would probably be expecting us to come fill that CME gap. I think it's around 77K. And if we come down here, we might be looking for maybe an impulse to start, like a 1, 2, third wave impulse, 4, 5, down even lower to 70K. And this could be the start of a 5-wave impulse to the downside as well. So far, the highest probability is for an ABC correction. I have also seen a couple other people that I highly respect with Elliott wave theory talk about this not being an ABC correction, but something like a WXY and maybe coming down to the 382 of a bigger, the pull from this low to this high up here. If you come down to 382, it's right around 85K, 89K, excuse me. And so those are levels to be watching there. But I still think that this is the ABC correction. A lot of people are saying because so many eyes are on it, it's not going to play out. But you know what? There's a lot of eyes on the charts at all the times, and it doesn't invalidate the pattern, in my opinion. So we're going to keep paying attention to this. So far, the pattern is playing out exactly as we expected. We expected this rejection from the 1024 golden pocket. We got the rejection from the 1024 golden pocket. All right, I'm going to zoom back in here. We're going to go back to that hourly chart, and let me go ahead. I'm going to hide this trend-based Fibonacci extension. I'm going to hide this again here. So we are still holding the parabolic pattern of this ray trend line that we have here. We might see a bounce from where we're at now. We are reclaiming that pitchfork band, the lower part of the pitchfork band. So if we are to see a bounce from here, what can we expect from the bounce from the 886 here? So there's a couple ways we can measure targets. We can find confluence of targets. The first way is to do a Fibonacci pull from the highs at 102.7 down to the new lows that we made today. So if we do that fib pull is this here. From the highs to the lows, you can see our golden pocket is having some really nice confluence with it. It's the top of the pitchfork band. So if we reclaim this pitchfork band, we can expect a rotation maybe up all the way to the top of the pitchfork band, which is also the golden pocket of this move, this a bullish retrace golden pocket of this move. And we also have, let's see here, it was not that one. That was our weekly as well that we bounced from here. So you can see we wicked past the weekly into the 886. The weekly was really close to that 786. A lot of us were expecting support at this area to come in. We just saw a quick flush past that. We recovered it right away, though. And actually, when we did recover it right away, let me just go into this real quick before I continue with this resistance here. Because I did long the back test of this weekly channel based off of, so what happened is when we first got the mega flush down, we bounced off the 886 and the SFP, and one of my good trading buddies who's an expert, Jason, he caught that CDW because he was looking on Bybit's chart, which was 91.7, and he caught it. We did pump up to the pitchfork mid back test, bearish back test of the pitchfork mid bottom of the band, excuse me, not midline, the bottom of the band, as well as the VWAP, and we rejected. We came back down to the 0.5. So if you do a fib pull from this low to this high here, and we turn on the 0.5, you can see we bounced from the 0.5 on the first bounce, came back up to the pitchfork band again on a bearish back test and rejected. And this time when we rejected, we came back down to the golden pocket. So anytime you guys see a dead cat bounce like this, like a V-shaped recovery, dead cat bounce like this, you can expect a retrace if we do reject from our local resistance. We did reject from our local resistance twice, so we can expect a retrace back down. And I was saying, okay, guys, the golden pocket's coming in really close to this weekly level. I'm just going to go ahead and long a back test of this weekly level if I see us come down to it. We did come down to it. I longed this here, and so far I'm still in that long. I did take a little bit of profits right here at the top of the band just in case we got another rejection. I think it was only 20% profits though. And I still have a lot of that open. And now it looks like we're starting on low time frame here, 6 minute. It looks like we're starting to back test that band now that we're back inside the band. And it looks like right now we're starting to try to hold it as support again. So this is what happened on the local price action earlier today. Now I'm going to zoom out here and we're going to go into the resistances, possible bounce levels that we can look for, lower highs. Remember, we hit the 886 here, so the higher probability is for us eventually to come down to take the lows of that fib pull up at 91.2 on Coinbase. Let's go there. And so we were looking at this purple box here. This is actually the second box of resistance I'm looking at. We also do have the large POC. So if we pull the POC, let's just zoom out here. Let's go to the 8-hour chart and let's look at our POC. So if we pull this range of from November 11th to present day, you guys can see our POC, our point of control, where the most volume of the asset's been traded in this time frame. It's also considered the fair value for the asset in this amount of time frame in this volume range. You can see the POC is coming in right at the top of the pitchfork band and right in alignment with that golden pocket. It's a little bit below the golden pocket, but let's just look at that. So that's that box of resistance. We have 3 key levels there. We have the pitchfork band, we have the large POC, and we do have our golden pocket there. Now, remember yesterday I talked about this anchored VWAP. This anchored VWAP is from the all-time high, and over the weekend we bounced perfect from it. We came up to our bearish target that we hit for the correction, and we saw the aggressive dump. Now this anchored VWAP is going to be acting as a resistance. Now, anytime you see that lower time frame descending channel, especially a very, very steep descending channel like this one here, remember, when we break a channel like this, you always usually come sweep the high. You'll sweep all this liquidity in one quick flush up. It would be a short squeeze up. So if we break this channel where we're at now, we're about to try to break it again, then we can expect to come up to this level, to these highs here at the beginning of the channel's formation, to sweep, to do an SFP of these highs, to sweep all the liquidity of all the people in here that were shorting in here throughout the day. So look at where our SFP level is. Our SFP would be right into the anchored VWAP. So our very local resistance for a bounce, we could be looking at the SFP into the anchored VWAP. Now this is a local level, and today and even yesterday, a lot of our local levels have just gotten bust through. So remember, when Bitcoin and crypto really start to move, when they really start to expand in volatility, we can get bust through local resistances really easy. So this is our first local resistance or local supports really easily. So just be aware of that. This is a local resistance though, so we could look for the SFP of the channel highs, the small intraday channel highs that we're seeing here, into the anchored VWAP. That's our first resistance. Now, this channel, this little pivot here is also kind of within the channel. It's not exactly there, but that little liquidity level there, that little dead cat bounce from yesterday, we do have, it's also an SFP into the large range POC. So there's liquidity there to be taken into the large range POC, into the pitchfork band, and into the golden pocket. So this purple box up here is where I'm expecting Bitcoin to bounce to. Now, if we start to SFP this, it hit into the anchored VWAP and reject and close like a 10-minute candle or a 15-minute candle, the body at or below the swing failure pattern, I will look to enter here as well with proper risk management. Obviously, if you short this, you'll put your stop above the wick that was just created. You won't enter until the candle body closes at or below the swing failure pattern level, which would be 97,242 on Coinbase. So that is what I'm going to be looking for local resistances here on Bitcoin. Now, when you do come down and touch an 886, it is more probable to come take the lows at 91.2 on Coinbase. They're a little bit higher, 91.7 on Bybit. But that doesn't mean that we can't see quite an aggressive correction to the upside on this move up, because you can see we have a lot of liquidity all resting through here, and we have some imbalances. We have a fair value gap in this candle. We left single prints on the way down. So we have a lot of, we could see a short squeeze really easy. And what a short squeeze is when you have all these people that were shorting through all of this here, and their shorts are still open, or they shorted that and they don't have stop losses, they can get liquidated. And what is a liquidation? It's a forced buy back of the coin. So that is a forced buy. What does a forced buy do? It causes the price to go up even more. Or if you hit a stop loss is just a buy, a market buy, really. You're hitting your stop, you're getting stopped out, you're getting forced out of your short position, and you're forced to buy the coin back there. So we could see a short squeeze that happens all the way up. With this price action here, we can see an aggressive short squeeze up on this. And even with all of this here, we can see a pretty aggressive short squeeze here. So there's a couple other levels. If we take that same fib pull from the 102.7 highs down to the lows that we made today, and instead of using the golden pocket, let's go to that 786 there. And let's go back to our big range that we had here. And you can see the value area high of that range is also right around that 786. So it is possible to pump up to the value area high in 786 right around this area here. This is another box of resistance we should be watching here. We are still within the value area, the bigger value area of this November range here. So it is, we still can just continue to chop within this larger range value area like we have been since November 11th. So that's another resistance I'd be looking at. If we do reject and continue down, I still think that 87, 3-ish to 80, that 1-to-1 fib extinction target of the ABC correction is the main area you would like to be looking there. So if we zoom out to that 4-hour chart, let me go ahead and hide this now. We do have our bigger, this daily here is also in alignment with the 1-to-1 Fibonacci level. So that is definitely an area to keep in the mind. Now, one more thing I do want to show you guys here. I'm going to go ahead and hide some of this stuff, get it off the chart, clean up the chart here. A few videos ago, I think it was about a week ago, I talked about another channel that I was seeing on the chart, and I pulled this channel after we made it was the day after, it was on New Year's Day, I think I made this channel, and it was based off this 91.2 low. And so that channel was this bigger channel here. So let me hide this pitchfork as well so you guys can see this channel. This channel was based from the very start of the kind of ascending price action, this ascending price action up here. So I pulled it from this very low wick here to that 91.2K low, and then I bring it to the all-time high. And you can see this channel's been really nicely respected. Midline's respected multiple times here, 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 here. Rejected pretty much from the midline here. We got a little bit past it to the golden pocket. But you can see also that was another level that we bounced to the dollar from. So overall, our major trend is still holding. This is an ascending channel. This is overall, if we zoom out to the daily chart or the weekly chart, actually the weekly chart, you'd want to see we're still in higher highs. We're still in this ascending price action. We're just starting to range here. And unfortunately, this could be some sort of distribution pattern that's occurring. We'll have to kind of keep an eye on that to see if this is going to happen. But this channel is still being respected, and we do see that we could even come up. The last resistance that I'd be looking at, I showed you the anchored VWAP. I showed you the large range POC in confluence with the golden pocket and the pitchfork band. I showed you the 786 in confluence with the value area high. And then we have the SFP of these highs here that we made 2 days ago into the channel midline. So even though we bounced from the 886 and it is probable that we come for these lows here at 91.2, it still wouldn't invalidate to come all the way up to here to SFP these highs again and then come down and take these lows here. But it's highly unlikely in this scenario if this is the larger ABC correction to the downside. If this is an actual ABC correction to the downside, then we want to see our C wave continue down to that 87.3 level or even to the other lower targets there. So we have multiple levels of resistance to be looking at now. The swing failure pattern of these highs into the channel midline. Let me turn these back on here for you, and I'll zoom in on this. So let's go to the hourly chart. We have this is the value area high in alignment with the 786 here. If we change that same fib level to the golden pocket, same fib pole, just a golden pocket, it's in alignment with our big range POC. Not that one. Let's see here. Well, you guys saw it's our big range POC, this one here, and it is our pitchfork band as well. We have our pitchfork band right in there. So that's our box. That's also a box to be looking at. And then we have our very local box. Now, this was the box that I was hoping to hold the support earlier today. Overall, we kind of wicked past it. Didn't see what we wanted there, but it was a valid level to be looking, a valid support to be looking. And then we have our first box up at this anchor VWAP and the swing failure pattern of this channel, the liquidity of this channel. So that's another level to be watching there. This here. So those are our 4 resistances to be looking at. Swing failure pattern up here. Now this swing failure pattern, obviously, if we're going to come up there, it's going to take some time to get up there unless we do a straight V recovery, which is highly unlikely. It's not the most unlikely because the way this price action was, we could short squeeze really quick up, but I expect us, if we do even do something like this, maybe this, and then come up to here, do this, chop for a little bit at the value area, I flip it, and then come up here. And by that time, the channel midline will be in alignment with that SFP, and then we could see the move down. Now, I don't think that's the most probable at all. I think actually the resistance that I'm looking at the most is the golden pocket into the large range POC and into the top of the pitchfork band. You can see this pitchfork band has been respected over and over. And even though we do get wicks past it on the daily, it does tend to even give us reactions on small time frames to the dollar. So I'm expecting this to be our resistance if we don't even fail here for a lower high and then continue to take these lows at 91.2. But I do expect these lows at 91.2 to come be taken, and maybe even the 87.300 1-to-1 ABC correction target to be hit. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for Bitcoin right now. Let's just keep an eye out on this. If you look at the momentum wave right now, we do have the bear divs, or bull divs, excuse me. We have lower lows all through here, higher lows on the momentum waves. Money flow is finally starting to curve up. That's why we're starting to see this bounce and this reclaim of the bottom of the pitchfork band. If we go to the 4-hour chart here, you can see that we have finally bottomed on the momentum waves. We're getting the green dot on the momentum waves, and you can see money flow is starting to curve to the upside again here. So we could see a bounce from here. It's actually likely that we see at least a little bit of a bounce from where we're at now. Zooming in onto the 15-minute chart. Okay, 15-minute chart doesn't look the nicest, but you did see through here all these kind of bull divs, this multiple drivers of bull div kind of curving up here, and money flow is kind of curving up. Now we are starting to see some little waves down in money flow, and it looks like we're getting a green dot where we're at now after testing the band as support. So you can see these bands are respected to the dollar on low time frames as well. Here, here, here. So we're bouncing now, reclaiming the band, bouncing from the band as support, reconfirming our price action within this band. We can expect maybe to come to the top of the band here. And the top of the band is around 98.5. The golden pocket's just a little bit higher here. What is that? Like 98.8. So 98.5 to 98.8 is where I'd be watching for a real lower high to come in before coming down. That's what I'm watching for right now. We still do need to break this 1-hour channel here. So until we break it, if we just keep rejecting from it, we could keep kind of doing the slow bleed down just like we have been doing. So right now, what we're seeing with this channel is really important to kind of try to break this now. And if we do break this, we can see a flush up real quick, a short squeeze up to at least this 97.3, 97.250-ish level here real quickly. So I will do a little bit more TP here. If we do confirm the swing failure pattern, I will TP here. If we don't confirm the swing failure pattern, then I'm not going to TP, and I will look to TP some up here, though. All right, so that's Bitcoin for today. Let's just keep an eye out on that. Next, I am going to go into the total market cap chart, because I haven't updated you guys on this total market cap chart in a while, and we actually saw some interesting things here. So last time we were looking at this total market cap chart, let me actually zoom in onto the 4-hour chart. It's a little bit nicer here. We were also looking for a move up to take this liquidity here into the golden pocket. You can see it did go a little bit higher than that, and we pumped to the top of this channel perfectly, and I did draw this channel. Remember, I drew this channel here, this ascending channel, based off of this low here, and this first high. So we wicked a little bit past our golden pocket. Let's see the 786. So we didn't quite make it to the 786, but we wicked a little bit past our golden pocket. We actually did the same on Bitcoin. So, but you can see it was really just wicks. Even on the 4-hour time frame, it was just like wicks here into the top of our channel. And anytime we see a golden pocket near the top of our channel, along with the liquidity grab actually wasn't so nice, because you can see this 4-hour candle here. So I wouldn't even call that a swing failure pattern there, but we actually did stop out that liquidity there. You can also see our prior lows were here as well. So this is kind of an important SR level here. If we turn this on, SR flip level, it used to be our supports now. Then we flipped it to resistance. And then now it's like some sort of resistance for us. Anyways, we came into the top of the channel. We rejected from the top of the channel, and we dumped all the way to the bottom of the channel. We wicked a little bit past it, but you can see we really never closed any candles below the channel, and we're still chopping in the channel. So our total market cap is still in this bigger range here. We could do the fixed range volume profile poll of this range here. We are reclaiming the POC as we speak. We did bounce from that kind of value area low, which was in alignment with the bottom of the channel here. And if we look for a retracement up on this, what we could be looking for now is we could do a Fibonacci pull from high to low. Let's look at the golden pocket. All right, so our golden pocket's not looking so nice. But let's look at the 0.5 fib, because oftentimes in a correction, in a bounce, after you get an aggressive move to the downside, you'll usually bounce to the 0.5, which, look at this, the 0.5 is exactly at our value area high of this range, but we also have our pitchfork midline there. If it takes a couple hours to get up there, a half a day or a day to get up there, then we have our pitchfork midline, which this pitchfork's been highly respected here. So our pitchfork midline's there. So we might expect the total market cap to come up to about 3.34 and then maybe make another curve down and finally come take these lows here. I still do think this purple box area, it's not as aligning as nice now because this pitchfork band, the lower band, keeps increasing as time goes. But we do have our golden pocket nearby, and we do have that liquidity down there as well from the bottom of this rising kind of channel-like price action, just like Bitcoin had. So it wouldn't surprise me if we come down to sweep all of the liquidity that built up in here. Just come down to these lows, to this box here. But until we lose this channel, we got to keep respecting the trend, keep trading within the channel, and then we might continue higher. We could also pull this range here, this volume profile range. We could pull it all the way kind of to like this price action, which would be like equivalent to Bitcoin's November 11th range. It's kind of the same POC and the same value area low. It's just our value area high is up higher, and that's also where we rejected as well, the value area high. Let's do it actually all the way to this level here. Okay, so POC and value area low are the same, but all it did was increase our value area high to up here. So I'd just be watching for the 0.5 into the smaller range value area high, this smaller range here. We've got our value area high there. We could see the rejection from there. And if we do see a rejection from here, and Bitcoin is also at its local band, that 98.5-ish level, this level here, then we could expect both of them to turn down together. That would actually be kind of nice to see, and then we could finally come take these lows here. And also, guys, remember, if we go back to the big range here, we never actually touched into the value area low here. Now, the value area low has actually changed. It's actually risen with this move. But before that, our value area low here was at that 90K level, that 90-ish K level. So if we did this pull here, remember, we front ran the value area low into the SFP of this second pivot on that rising channel. So this is still an area to be watching. But now that our value area has changed a little bit, we don't have as nice confluence there. I do think the 87.3 1-to-1 target is a better target to be watching. And then we also have our bigger 382 from this last big impulse up, which is around 89.5-ish. All right, so that's Bitcoin. That's the total market cap. Now let's go real quick to total 3. Our total 3 here. Total 3 has been holding up a little bit better. Remember, we never came down to this golden pocket like we did on total chart and on Bitcoin. Bitcoin made new lows. Total market cap chart didn't make new lows, but it came down quite far. Well, the total 3 chart, the altcoins held up a little bit better, but that's really because they were beat down far much more than Bitcoin by December 24th. Remember, on December 24th, Bitcoin was doing a swing failure pattern of the 99.6K highs into 99.9K. Well, at the same time, alts were dumping really hard. So alts were kind of already bottomed out by the time we started that range. And this pitchfork band did reject us again. If we go back here to like the hourly chart, you can see we pumped to the top of the pitchfork band. We did front run it just by a hair, but we rejected from the top of the pitchfork band. Then we lost it and we're coming down. Now, if we do a ascending channel, the same kind of ascending channel that we just looked at on the total chart, and we do this ascending channel like this, you can see that we broke this channel here on the total 3 chart. Let me zoom out a bit. All right, so we broke the channel. So now what we can be expecting here, and you can see we also, once we kind of lost that midline of the channel, that's when we saw the big flush. So we could be looking for a retracement just to back test the channel and then continue down to the golden pocket. That is something I might be expecting here, because if Bitcoin starts to bleed again off a lower high and dropping again, altcoins are going to bleed too. Let's do a fib pull from the highs of a couple days ago to the lows that we made today. And let's go to the 382, which is often acts as strong resistance or support in a strong trend. So the 382, let's zoom back into the hourly chart. Unless we came up quick, the 382 is not quite aligning with the back test of the channel. But you know what is what I just talked about, that 0.5 is often a target for like a corrective wave. And if it does take some time, like maybe we start to form a sideways range here and then come up, do something like this for a little bit and then come up here and then reject here, that could be a level where we could be watching. So that's around that 99.3 993.78 billion. So we just want to be watching these charts, because if we start rejecting from resistance on these charts and your altcoin is at resistance, it'll help you confirm to get into a short. So that's it for total chart. Now, lastly, I'm going to go into Ethereum here. And Ethereum, we just saw, if you guys took that short that I was talking about a couple days ago, man, it gave us a really good trade. Now, our first local box of support, we just busted straight through it. We didn't get any reaction there. Actually, I think this was our local support. Yeah, okay. So yesterday's low. So this was our first local support. So we didn't even get a bounce up. I'm sorry, resistance. So yesterday I made this as a resistance to look for another rejection if we did see a bounce from where we bottomed out yesterday, which was about here. But you guys also can remember yesterday I was talking about we were about this area, and I wanted to see us drop a little bit more into the pitchfork band and golden pocket. Well, overnight we did get that drop to the pitchfork band. Actually, it was late at night. It was like right here at like 10 o'clock my time, I think. I did talk about how we finally hit into that pitchfork band and we were starting to see a bounce, but we rejected from the from the VWAP, and we continued lower actually to hit the golden pocket. We didn't see much of a reaction from this purple box, which Bitcoin didn't see much of its reaction from that purple box as well. And then we came down to that weekly. We wick past it just like we wick past the weekly on Bitcoin, but we got the quick recovery. And now we're kind of trying to, I'm going to delete this golden pocket now, or actually I'm going to change it to this 786 here. So 886. So Ethereum actually did not come down to its 886. So it's a little bit more bullish than Bitcoin because Bitcoin's 886 was touched. But one thing we can look for now, we did kind of hold this weekly overall. If we zoom out here, let's go to a 4-hour chart. So yeah, you can see it was just wicks past the weekly, just like Bitcoin got, but we are holding our bodies above the 4-hour chart above that weekly level. So overall, it is still holding on higher time frames as a support. But we can look for a back test of this pitchfork band. Now that we lost it, remember this pitchfork band was holding really, really well all through here. Now that we're losing it, it could turn into a resistance for us. So let's go to the 1-hour chart again. Now, Ethereum doesn't have as nice as a descending channel as Bitcoin does. Bitcoin had this really good descending channel all the way down. But you can see we do have this kind of descending channel here. It's not near as nice. The top of the channel of just this little trend down, I guess. The midline is being respected of the channel, but the top of this kind of descending trend that we've been in all day is at the back test of the pitchfork. So if we reject from here, if we come up to this area here and reject, then we might just continue down. But if we're able to reclaim it and get back in the band like Bitcoin is doing right now, then we could see a push up higher. And we could see a push up. Now we're going to have to re-look at this box here. We're going to have to re-pull our fib here because now our low is a new low here. And let's look at our golden pocket. So that golden pocket now is aligning with the top of the pitchfork band and golden pocket, top of the pitchfork band there. Looks like we have a fair value gap in there too that we could come for. So for Ethereum, if we're very close to a decision point right now, at least on lower time frames, whether we're going to reject at the back test of the pitchfork band and this channel, this top of this channel, and continue lower, or if we reclaim it, we could expect maybe a move up to here to about 35, 30-ish here. Let's zoom out a bit on this. Let's go to the 4-hour chart and let's look at our volume profile pull. I'm going to get rid of this now because that's no longer relevant. All right, so let's look at the fixed range volume profile of just this last kind of range here. We're at the POC now. Our value area high is close to this box. So we could probably even extend this box like this. I don't, that's a little bit too much for me, to be honest. But you can see our prior highs are also within this box here, which was our prior lows here. So if we look at just general basic support and resistance flips, which are really important in crypto, you can see our prior lows about right here in all through here. Now is going to be, actually, let's do these ones here. You can see support, 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 support here, broke it to the downside, flipped to resistance, flipped to resistance, flipped to resistance. Now, if we come up to that level again, that's right in our box of resistance. So we could be looking at 35, 30-ish level as a resistance to be watching if we do reclaim this pitchfork band. Our first level, our first very local level is to get back within the band, just like Bitcoin is in the process of doing right now. Bitcoin was able on low time frames to get above the band, get back within the band's price action, and start flipping it to support on low time frames. Well, Ethereum has not done that yet. Ethereum is still finding some resistance at its point of control here of this smaller range. If we do pull this fixed range volume profile all the way back here to the much bigger range, kind of equivalent to Bitcoin, see November 11th. This is pulled to November 11th, which is the same range as Bitcoin's big range. Well, POC is still the same. That's where we're at now. So this is actually a pretty big level because you can see the POC for a long, all through here was holding as support. So now that we're losing it, it could act as resistance. It's also really close to this. I wouldn't be surprised if we just wicked a little bit past it to retest this band and then continued lower if we reject. But you can see our value area high is still around the top up here of this highs that we made a few days ago. So we are still trading within the value area. Our value area low is down here. I mean, we could see SFP of these lows and then close the candle. Like I would be looking at this point at an hourly or 4-hourly candle, kind of like this candle here on this weekly. You can see how this 4-hourly candle had a big wick down past, but the body closed at the weekly level, and then we saw a reversal. So we could be looking for like a 4-hour candle to break the value area low of this range, come down, wick this liquidity here, and then close the 4-hour body at or below the value area low of this candle, and then make a reversal. So that is kind of a box of support that I would be looking. It's not our best box though, because at that point we would also be breaking our 886 here. Obviously we're breaking the 886 because the low from that fib pull is this low. And then so we do have our bigger box of support, our major box of support. Let me get rid of this channel now. It's kind of getting in the way. So and then I'm also going to hide this fixed range volume profile and this SFP. We do have our bigger box of support still in here. So this is our bigger, larger golden pocket into the bottom of the pitchfork, and it's our anchored VWAP from the last major lows. So if I zoom out here onto the daily chart, you can see this anchored VWAP, and this anchored VWAP was from these lows all the way down here. So these were key lows before we made this started more impulsive price action to the upward. We also do have our purple box, which is a major support resistance flip. You can see it was resistance, support, 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 resistance, 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 resistance. Now, if we come back down to it, it's also within our bigger golden pocket pull. And this golden pocket pull here is from these real big lows here all the way to the highs that we made. So that is that's a major support level that I have marked out here. That is around 2800 to 2860-ish. And then we do have our smaller golden pocket, which is just on the daily, our last daily lows here to the highs. And that's in alignment with the bottom of our pitchfork here. And it's in alignment with the anchored VWAP from these lows. So those are the two levels of support that I'd be watching here. If Bitcoin does continue to dump and break those 91.2K lows, then we can expect Ethereum. Also, this level of this first box here, we all have all the liquidity within all these daily candles here. They're all kind of semi-equal daily candles. we have the swing failure pattern into the anchored VWAP, into the golden pocket, into the pitchfork bottom. So this is a major support level, and this level's from about 3,000 to 2950-ish, 2950-ish. So that's the levels of support I'd be watching for Ethereum. The resistances, of course, we've got the one that is right up here. This is the big one that I'm looking at. The top of the pitchfork band, just like Bitcoin, it's top of its pitchfork band. If we, Bitcoin's already reclaimed its pitchfork band, and now we're kind of back within it, and we could expect a pump to the top, which is also the golden pocket. Well, with Ethereum, it's kind of the same type of price action. Our golden pocket is at the top of the band as well. It's also our support resistance flip of all these lows and all these lows and all these highs. So, and we can just expect that to be our resistance there. If we break that to the upside, then we might even come up to take these highs here. And we also do have our larger 786 up here as well. One thing I forgot to look at, let's zoom in first of all onto the 4-hour chart. And let's look at our naked daily points of control here. All right, so we do have this one here, but that's kind of in the middle of nowhere. And we are kind of testing one right now that was created in yesterday's candle close, which only closed an hour and 20 minutes ago. But we're testing one now, which is also our point of control of this range here. So we could reject from where we're at now. This point of control here, it does look like it's also our 0.5. Let's check that out real quick. Not quite. So I wouldn't put too much stock into this one here. Unless, let's see, was that our value area high? Not quite either. Okay, so that's our naked daily points of control here on Ethereum. I think this box is our major box of resistance to be watching for now. First level to tackle is the back test of this pitchfork band. If we get back within the pitchfork band, then we can expect to move up to this general area here, which is the golden pocket, and our value area high is also close to there. So band, our bigger support resistance flip. So let's mark that as the support resistance flip. Okay, so that's that area there. Now let's go back to Bitcoin real quick here, and let's look at if we have any new naked dailies on Bitcoin. All right, there we go. So it looks like we have one down here at the bottom of the pitchfork band, which is kind of holding a support. Now, I'm not sure if that was the close that just happened an hour ago or not. Actually, no, it wasn't. It looks like we have a brand new one that formed just now from today's, but today's candle is only an hour and 20 minutes old. So I wouldn't put too much into this yet, because obviously our price action is going to change within the next 23 hours, 22 and a half hours. We still do have that one up at 104 up there. Other than that, we don't really have any to be watching. So now, one last thing here. I'll go into this, the liquidity levels here. We still do have most of our liquidity. You can see on the charts down here below those 91.2K lows. So we have all the liquidity that's resting down here now. We do still have some liquidity that's up above the 102.8 highs, 102.7 highs, but more of our liquidity is resting down below these lows here, so it is more probable to come down. We also hit the 886. So usually when you hit the 886, you'll come for these lows here. Eventually, it's higher probability to come down here. We also have this as a magnet kind of drawing us down here. If we go to the Model 3 chart here, and actually I'm going to go on to Bybit. I like Bybit's charts better. All right, so we have some liquidity resting here at 96.2. We have that liquidity in the right around our 98.8 here, this box here. We do have some liquidity resting there as well. So this is where it's all at. The 97 to like 98.8, you can see all this liquidity is here. So if we came up into that box, we would take all this liquidity. The top of this liquidity is right around 98.9. So there's that. Obviously, we have some above the highs right around 104K. where there's that naked daily point of control. But you can see our other major level of liquidity is right around 91K is where that liquidity starts there too. So we do have that liquidity down there to be looking at as well. Remember, liquidity runs the markets. Liquidity acts as a magnet to draw the price to those markets. That's what market makers do. They hunt the liquidity and they take that liquidity. Now, very locally here, let's actually go to the 2-week chart. And we'll look at the liquidity since the 91.2K lows here. So, I mean, gosh, so many people got wrecked all through here. So much liquidity was taken. You can see all this liquidity was taken from this low here. We just got a lot of liquidity that was swept all day long. As far as this goes, we do have more liquidity resting below than above us. So we do have, at least at the 103 area level, we have that liquidity. But down below those 91.2K lows is where most of the liquidity is. All right, guys, so I hope this helps a little bit on Bitcoin. I know today's price action was really hard to trade. There was a lot of stuff going on. I even got a little chopped up at this golden pocket and pitchfork band here, right in this area here where I was trying to long the pitchfork band. Now, this was during the morning Jason Casper's live stream. We came into it. I did take a long from this area right here on the second test of the band. So I took a long from the first one, and I took TP1 when we hit the VWAP, and then I got stopped out on the rest. That was still a small win for me. But then we came down to this one here. I took it when we hit that band again, and I was looking for us to break this channel, so I wasn't planning on taking. I was looking for us to come up actually to the anchored VWAP or higher, and we didn't get it. We were chopping for a few hours, and I did put my stop, though, because I longed right as soon as we reclaimed, got to our candle body to that pitchfork band. I put my stop below this low here. So the risk was calculated risk. I was willing to take the loss. I even talked about this in the Discord. I said, listen, if I get stopped out, I'm okay with the loss, but we are at a major support with being the bottom of the pitchfork band and a big golden pocket. I'm going to give, we also had, you can see this here. We had bull divs across on a lot of time frames, 15-minute bull divs. If we go on to the hourly, we had hour bull divs. So we had bull divs on many time frames. And it was worth a try to me. You don't win every trade. And if you're winning every trade, then you're probably not having good, you're only taking setups. You're not optimizing your trading potential. Let's just say that. So got stopped out on this one here, and that's when we saw the big crash to the downside. You can see very low time frame. We kept front running it, and I was very hopeful that we might not take it, but then I started seeing some bearish CVD absorption in here. We got a back test of the band, and as soon as we rejected from the back test, I actually should have closed it there. I was actually thinking about that real time. Should I just close it because we're rejecting? I said, nah, I already committed to the plan. I'll just stick to it. And then we got the big flush down. So it happens in trading. You know, you get in, you get out, you win some, you lose some. Now I'm in long from here. Now that, no, the weekly. I'm sorry, the back test of the weekly. I'm in a long from the back test of the weekly. So this area here, I got in right around here. And we'll see what happens here. So anyways, guys, have a good day. I hope this helps. I hope you guys are all using proper risk management, because these local support and resistance boxes that we have on the charts can get blasted through when we have high volatility on Bitcoin and crypto. So just keep that in mind. Keep the larger time frames in mind and the larger trend in mind. Remember, we are in a C wave, a possible C wave correction to the downside. A C wave correction is an impulsive wave to the downside, and you can see our price action's been pretty impulsive. So anyways, everybody, have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow. We'll do another update tomorrow. Peace out.